Hello everyone. Today we look at how to calibrate the ARK system, in particular how to calibrate the four cameras that are overhead to the kilobot table, and they have four overlapping images, and they need to be calibrated in a way that is determined how the four images are joined together. For doing so, there is a software that is available on the Kilobot wiki hosted by Sheffield Robotics, that is at this address. Now the Kilobot wiki looks like this. I plan to change or add a bit more information, so maybe the structure or the organization vary a little bit when you will see this screen. But anyway, in the ARK documentation, there is the source code. In this case is indicated here on GitHub. There is this project that is the Kilobot Arena calibration that has the Qt project and all the source file. Now on the Sheffield Robotics machine is already downloaded this code and compiled. So if you open Qt Creator and you open a project, you might even see that is already available in the recently opened project, and in this case is here in Kilobot Calibration, the Kilobot Arena Setup project. So you just open it. Now it's failing because it says that it's already open, and indeed it's here, and you have your project, and the only thing that you need is, okay, compile it, is not compiled, but then run. When you run it, you have this screen with these four tabs that are the four stages of this calibration process. The calibration relies on visual cues that are placed on the table in order to find common characteristic between cameras. You can have already saved images, so load calibration images, or capture at the moment. Now we capture the four images from the four cameras at the moment, and you will see that I place on the table some paper that in Sheffield Robotics you can find them, but otherwise you can print any image. It shouldn't be too much symmetrical, otherwise creates confusion, and should be black and white. Usually works well with bold, thick lines. And you place them in the overlapping zone of the four cameras. We have there the four images, and what the software will do is to find points that match between cameras. You can also save these calibration images so that you can repeat this process multiple times, because we will see that there will be a lot of stochasticity, a lot of randomness, and capturing the image might take a few seconds with USB cameras. If you save them, it's quick. Then we can extract the feature, so we go on stage 2. Here there are two threshold parameters. We can see already with the default that it works pretty well. We can see that the same color indicate matched feature. So on this axis there is a lot of overlap, and we see that here the blue, for example, dots are a lot. There is a lot of match. That means the stitching of the image will work pretty well. For this and this camera, you see that there are yellow common matching, but they are much fewer, and so that risk to be not enough. So on one axis you see this light blue and dark blue works really well, on the other axis is much less. So we might decrease a little bit the threshold and repeat this feature detection, and we see that now we have much more match, so hopefully the stitching will work better. So we can go at the third stage, that is stitching the images, and we tell them stitch them. So here the thread is running. Now is using that information gathered before to join automatically the four images. Here is the result. One thing that we should look at if is the edges are straight. That's one thing that often happen, that are a bit curved. Here we can notice a bit of curvature. Often this happen on these axes, because we noticed before there is less point, less overlap. The overlap area is smaller. Here the overlap area is huge, as you can see, and the stitching is fabulous. It's very good. The other axis a bit less good. If in case you are not happy, we can come back. We can add one bit more threshold. The system find new feature. If you're not happy, you just re-click and you will find randomly new other. As I say, this is a stochastic process, so every time you click, finds new cues, and you can restitch the image. Maybe we get a better result. When you get something you are happy with, let's see, hopefully we are happy with this. We are relatively happy with this. Okay, let's try. So now you see that we have this squared table that we want, that is stitched together but is not really a regular square. We want to tell the system that is a square, so we can select the corners. Here is manual activity that requires some skill in clicking the right place. Here I'm not so happy with this point, so I click reset and it will delete the last point. So this point are telling me where ARK will cut the image and will show only a part of it, and we will make this four corners a regular square. So I selected the four corner of my square and I say square arena. So this is the final result. We are pretty happy with it, and we save it. So we can save in this calibration file part, and we call it, this is the day of today, 2020 October 28. We call it as video because it's during the video that we're recording, and we save. So we have saved this calibration file. So what's needed this calibration file for? We close this software and we go at the kilobot arena that is the main ARK software, and we run it. So it's necessary here when we say load calibration, we load the file that we just created, computed, and now the camera starts starting, and we see now the final result. That's pretty good. One thing that you can notice that here I did not click really well, and we have a lot of a bit of black space on the bottom and a bit of extra space on the right. So I can repeat the process, maybe paying a bit more attention when I square the image where I click. I was too generous and I got too much border. I could reduce that part. Another test that you could do is to check if the kilobot on the line is properly joined. You see that the image are not joined exactly as they to be reconstructed perfectly, but that's normal because the kilobot will not be at the height of the paper placed on the table, but it's 3-5 centimeter tall, the circle. So there is a bit of discrepancy. So you can test with some kilobot. I will do it now live. I will place some kilobot on the table and we see how they look like. Okay, so I tried to place 3 kilobot on the edge of the cameras. Now with this button you refresh the image and you will see that the kilobot I placed with a white background to avoid confusion. They are not really on the edge. I will move them a little bit to see how they are reconstructed on the edge. So refreshing again, and you see that there is a bit of deformation, but still can be recognized as a circle. This needed to be moved a bit more, but still we can see that they managed to cross the two cameras quite well. So that's how you calibrate the ARK system. You might want to repeat this process a few times to then select the best calibration you got, but then once it's done and you don't move the cameras, you don't need to repeat this process anymore. That's all. Good luck.